Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Companies to watch.
All right, it's time to go for some shopping when you're in the stock market. And today we've got some interesting ones lined up.
Yes, we do. Welcome back to Companies to Watch. We took a short hiatus last week, but we're back again just to analyze and look at some of the companies that you should be watching out for today. So welcome to the segment where we spotlight and stock you up with ideas of listed companies that will call for your attention. So we're looking at market trends to risks, as well as hidden gems or warning signs to steer clear of. 8855-0893. Text us and tell us whether you think it's going to be a hot or not. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing all right. So today's going to be interesting because we've got a new IPO and we've been seeing quite some pickup in momentum when it comes to listings.
Yes, we are. And we're turning to the SGX. Back at home, it looks like there's going to be a broadening AI-related opportunities for investors on the SGX today because Japan's telecommunications company Nippon Telegraph and Telephone Limited will be announcing its NTT DC REIT's mega listing today. And that marks one of Asia's largest data center REIT initial public offerings. And of course, like what I've said, broadens the opportunities for investors to gain exposure to assets that are driving the artificial intelligence boom. So scheduled to commence trading at about 2 p.m. today, that's as of the 14th of July of 2025, the REIT has an IPO market capitalization of about $1 billion and it marks the third pure-play data center REIT that is listed in Singapore, joining Digital Core REIT as well as Keppel DC REIT. First thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, exciting times. I think it really goes to the trend that's been playing out, the AI boom and Singapore being a data center hub of sorts and also a REIT hub of sorts. So really playing to Singapore's strengths, and it is going to be, I believe, the biggest REIT IPO in a decade.
Yeah, certainly so, Ryan. You know your facts well. In fact, in total, the pure play data center as REITs listed on SGX provides investors with exposure to around 9 billion Singapore dollars of global data center REITs. So let's talk a little bit more about what they have in their portfolio. After all, this is what investors would be watching out closely for. So NTT DC REIT's portfolio comprises of 6 data centers with 4 in the US, 1 in Austria, and 1 here in Singapore. So all 6 of them have an aggregate appraised value of about $1.6 billion. Now, the portfolio has a design IT load of around 90.7 megawatts and is around 94.3% occupied as at December 2024. So we're looking at relatively healthy spots right there. And it also even has a mix of hyperscale and colocation customers and a weighted average lease expiry of 4.8 years, which should run them quite sustainably for a while. So the REIT sponsor is part of the NTT Group, and for those of us who aren't exactly sure of them, they're the third largest data center provider globally, excluding China. So NTT did note in its prospectus that the global data center market has demonstrated high growth, with commissioned power growing from 18.2 gigawatts back in 2020 to 49.1 gigawatts in 2024. So if we put into perspective, that represents a compound annual growth rate of 28.1%, and estimates are for it to continue growing at double-digit pace until 2027, Ryan. So it seems like prospects for this stock is painting to be relatively rosy for them. What do you think?
Yeah, that's still quite promising. So you laid out pretty much the context of why it is expected to do well, why there's such a high level of interest.
Yep.
So a lot of things going for it. I think one of the things that stands out for me is who are its tenants, and I'm digging a bit deeper into who is occupying their data centers. So you have a high average occupancy rate of 94.3%. Notably, there is a top customer that takes up about 31.5% of its total monthly base rent, which is a Fortune 100 US automotive company. So there may be some concentration risk based on that, but otherwise it does look quite positive.
Yeah, it does seem quite positive as of now. And based on the offer price of about $1 per unit, NTT DC REIT is projected to have an annualized distribution yield of, wait for it, 7.5% for the financial year 2026, which is way higher than the trailing distribution yields of other data center REITs here in Singapore.
Nice. Yeah, I think
more
those
cash pile.
folks are looking for income are going to be quite happy.
That's right. So income lovers, this is definitely a hot spot for you to look at. Now, we've looked at how the competitors are faring and just focus on Keppel DC REIT as of now. That's the largest pure play data center REIT here in Singapore. It has about $4.9 billion in assets under management, and it has certainly grown to over 20% over the past few years. Digital Core REIT, meanwhile, they've also grown about 79.9% in revenue for the first quarter of 2025. So it does suggest that this might be a good spot for them to grow in, especially here in Singapore, where a lot of investors are starting to shift their attention towards data center plays, companies and stocks within the market. What do you say to that?
Yeah, think about trying to get a slice of action when it comes to AI, right? You don't really have the likes of NVIDIA going on, but no, you have a DC REIT going on. So that's a way to play it. And then I think if you look at the backing, what's notable is GIC is part of the support, the cornerstone investors involved, which is going to take up nearly 10%. So that's a big vote of confidence if you are looking at how much backing they have. All
right, now back to us, Ryan. So, verdict from me, I'm probably going to have to go with a heart for NTT DC REIT.
Yeah. Right.
What about you?
Yeah, same for me. I'm looking forward to this one.
All right. Okay, now let's move on over to some fun facts about NTT Group. Now, it was established back in 1952 as a government-owned entity to rebuild Japan's communications infrastructure after World War II, and it was privatized in 1985. It is today ranked as one of the top global telecommunications company by revenue. So, Ryan, here's a data center joke for you. What do you call it when data goes on a difficult car journey?
Difficult car journey?
Yeah.
What do you get?
A hard drive. Okay, what do you call a drive full of sorted data?
I'm not sure.
Information. And that's all we have for NTT DC REIT.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.